I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we're reading from the book of Judges, chapter 2. So let's focus on verses 6 through 10. The people worshiped the Lord throughout Joshua's lifetime and during the lifetimes of the elders who outlived Joshua. They had seen all of the Lord's great works that he had done for Israel. Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. And they buried him in the territory of his inheritance in Timnah-Heres, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gaash. That whole generation was also gathered to their ancestors, and after them another generation rose up who did not know the Lord, or the works that he had done in Israel. Once again, Judges chapter 2, verses 6 through 10. So that generation that entered into the land of Canaan with Joshua, well, they had seen the great works of the Lord out there in the wilderness. This was especially true for the eldest of that generation, because as children, they had experienced God's redemption from Egypt. They experienced his provision in the desert as young adults, and his deliverance into Canaan as older men. They had known the Lord's great grace because of his promise to their forefathers and his abundant mercy despite their sin. One thing that the deliverance generation had somehow failed to do was to communicate all of those lessons to their children. They had failed to transfer the value of following God to the point where the next generation didn't even know the Lord or the works that he had done in Israel just a generation prior. Their attitude toward building up the next generation was in direct disregard of the Lord's command. Consider Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 3 through 9. Listen, Israel, and be careful to follow the Lord's commandments, that you may prosper and multiply greatly, because the Lord your God, the God of your fathers, has promised you a land flowing with milk and honey. Listen, Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and all of your strength. These words that I am giving you today are to be in your heart. Repeat them to your children. Talk about them when you sit in your house and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them be a symbol on your forehead. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Once again, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 3 through 9. Now, I have experienced both great grace and abundant mercy from the Lord. And allow me to encourage you to continue walking life's path with me as we're reading the Bible. Indulge me to retell my story in these bite-sized daily installments and to impart the lessons of Scripture so that you will know that the Lord is real and that his works are not just things in the past, but things which he will do presently and will do in the future. And this is all so that you'll be prepared to, number one, be leaders in your generation and impassioned to equip the next generation. You know, Groundworks Ministries exists because of faithful donations of people like yourself, donating not only toward discipleship in our generation, but preparing the next. If you're being blessed by what you're experiencing here, would you consider donating toward future generations by donating to Groundworks Ministries? You can do it at our website. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.